Well, greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome,
Hello.
welcome back to the Devil's Playground. We, somebody said, why do you call it the Devil's Playground? Because that's where we live. We live in the Devil's Playground. It's what this
Yeah, it's pretty
whole
basic.
realm is.
We're in the sandbox. We're all playing together. And some play together, some players don't play together.
Yep, yep. So for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome, welcome. My name is Nigel. I am in China, and my co-pilot here is Harry, and he's in Southern California. How's life in California, bro?
Probably for it's what it is. I mean, it's no different than any other place that is believes this the narrative that what's happening is real. So
Well, that is the whole topic of this midweek podcast. So let's get into it, bro. Let's get straight into it. It's not going to be a long one today, guys, I don't think. Okay, so inverted. We live, if you don't already know, we live in a completely inverted realm. Everything is the opposite of what you think it is. Big shout out to our good friend Lovegood, who she actually sent me this and this literally like 10-15 minutes before we started the podcast. So thanks to her. You can pause this and have a look if you want. I'm not going to go through it, but I thought the memes were pretty cool. Excuse me, especially the old diapers.
we all know that politicians and diapers,
Oh yeah,
they're both full of shit, and you got to change them regularly.
absolutely. All right, so most people should be aware that in the West, if a young male is not Mister, it's called Master. This is because he is the master of his own mind. After he graduates from school, he's no longer a master, he becomes a mister. There's a reason for that. When we talk about someone, oh, she's a bright kid or a bright student or whatever, we might say they are switched on, bright, dim, switched on. And if you don't go to school, you're considered a moron. Moron? Well, when we go to school, we have a lesson, a lesson, a lesson, moron, switched on. Who's more switched on? You see the inversion. It's right there. We go to school and we graduate because we have eaten, we have consumed the information that has been prescripted. Graduate, gradually you ate, consumed. Because everything we learn at school is prescribed or prescribed, pre-written. We are indoctrinated, indoctrinates, which is before we graduate, which again in doctor is connected to water. Everything in this realm is maritime. It's all connected to water, and
Yeah.
as prescribed means pre-written. Think about that next time you go and visit to get a prescription. So if a barber makes a mistake, it's a new style. If a politician makes a mistake, it's a new law. If a scientist makes a mistake, it's a new invention. If a tailor makes a mistake, it's a new style. If a teacher makes a mistake, it's a new theory. But if a student makes a mistake, it's a mistake. We go to school. What do we call a collection of fish? A school. And it's interesting if you've ever had the chance to look or see how they all swim together, they all turn together, they all do exactly the same thing at the same time.
Get in line.
Yep. Because everything in this realm is about water. You know, a ship's anchor, a news anchor. Maybe you should put a W before the anchor, Harry.
Wanka.
Yeah. A reporter, port, mainstream. A fish tank and a tank. And what does a tank fire, Harry?
Shells.
You got it. The list goes on, guys. I could go on for hours and hours and hours. But, you know, predominantly, we're going to be talking about materialism, and how we're all taught that materialism is good. You know, it's all good. But when we look, you know, if you've looked at our previous podcast or seen our previous podcast, we talk about the Jesus figure. Jesus being he's us, the same way that you would pronounce Jose or Juan in Spanish, spelled with a J. But from the last podcast, you'll know that the inner G, our energy is our inner G. G is us, generation, energy. So what we have the Jesus being he's us, and we have the Santa, which is an anagram of Satan, and he's also us. Santa doesn't put the gifts or the presents under the tree for your kids. You do. You do, Harry. I do. Well, I did when I was, you know, when my kids were younger. So you have the Jesus, he's us. You have the Santa, the Satan, he's us as well. There is no Santa Claus. There is no Jesus as in individual figures. They are representations of us, the twin souls, the souls that we walk on, we tread on. Don't tread on me. We walk on our souls every day. We have two of them, twin souls.
Again, the duality between the material and the spiritual has to happen, or you can't define one versus the other.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, ego versus soul. Ego seeks to serve itself. Soul seeks to serve others. Ego is the Santa Claus. Ego seeks outward, that's recognition. I don't know why there's an S in there. Soul seeks inner authenticity. Ego seeks sees a life as a competition. Soul sees life as a gift. Ego seeks to preserve self. Soul seeks to preserve others. Ego looks outward, soul looks inward. Ego feels lack, soul feels abundance. Ego is mortal, soul is eternal. Ego is drawn to lust, soul is drawn to love. Go and watch our podcast, Sex in the Sit Eye, to understand the lust in this realm. Ego seeks wisdom, soul is wisdom. Ego enjoys the prize, soul enjoys the journey. Harry, you and I had a long chat about this this topic the other day, whereby you know you know, if you're a male, and I'm just going to use this as an example, guys, you know, and you're chasing after this girl, and you chase after this girl for 2 years, and you finally get the girl, and what? Know what you can do?
You have all this energy built up. What do you do now, right?
Yeah. And you know, it's the same with the you want to, you know, I want a Mercedes sports car. So what are you going to do? You're going to save and save and save and save until you can afford the sports car. And then what? Now what are you going to do? You know, do you want to own the sports car, or do you just want to drive the Mercedes? You know, if you just want to drive it, then go and drive one. You know,
You got to now look for a new goal.
yeah.
If
Yeah,
from the material side, you have to have a new goal, but from the spiritual side, you just enjoy the idea or the journey, as this ego versus soul says.
yeah.
As long as you have that journey in your mind, you're just fine. You're fine.
Yep. Ego is the cause to pain or of pain. Soul is the cause of healing. Ego rejects God. Soul embraces God. We are God. Ego is me. Soul is we. Soul is we. Now, I'm throwing this in here, guys, because I can't think of any words in the English language that begin with Q that don't that doesn't have a U after the Q. And in this case, this what you're looking at is an anagram of Q Satan, Satan, Santa, Satan, saint. We put this up in the previous podcast as a just to see what you guys think. The 11 satanic rules of the earth. Don't give opinions or advice unless you are asked. Okay, you want to disagree with that, Harry? Didn't think so.
No way. I think it's a great rule.
Do not tell your troubles to others unless you are sure they want to hear them. Okay. When in another's home, show them respect or else do not go there. If a guest in your home annoys you, treat them cruelly and without mercy. Yeah. Do not make sexual advances unless you are given the mating signal. Do not take that which does not belong to you unless it's a burden to the other person and they cry out to be relieved of it. Acknowledge the power of magic if you've employed it successfully to obtain your desires. If you deny the power of magic after having called upon it with success, you will lose all you have obtained. I have a friend in Australia. When she was young, when she was about 18, 19, she created what she calls a vision board. And she put all these things on this vision board, all these things that she wanted to have by the time she was 25. And by the time she was 25, she had every one of them. Well, if that's not magic, I don't know what is. Don't harm young children. Don't complain about anything to which you need not subject yourself. Do not kill non-human animals unless you are attacked or for your food. When walking in open territory, bother no one. If someone bothers you, ask them to stop. If they don't, destroy them. Well, destroy is probably a bit of a harsh word there, but again, it's all to do with our indoctrination, Harry. You know, you could throw something at me, an argument at me, and I could destroy your argument. I haven't hurt you, have I?
No. You found the perfect answer to whatever my argument is, and that's how you destroy it right there.
Yeah. And notice the word rule. You know, we were talking about school. We have school rules. These are rules. Well, rule, R-U-L. Look, if you read it backwards, L-U-R-E-L, which is, you know, we're told is God. You are. The biblical Jesus said, "Know ye not ye are gods." Just food for thought. Now, it's interesting, Harry, that this symbol is what we were talking about in the last podcast. And Paul from What the Flock TV, he came and left a comment. So go back and watch the previous one. The figure 8 below, that's the meta symbol on which is Facebook now, and also represents reincarnation. So these are the statements. Now remember, Satan is Santa, is you, me, Harry. Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence. Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dream. Satan represents undefiled wisdom instead of hypocritical self-deceit. Satan represents kindness to those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrates. Satan represents vengeance instead of turning the other cheek. Represents responsibility to the responsible instead of concerns for psychic vampires. Represents man as just another animal, sometimes better, more often worse than those that walk on all fours. Well, we all know that. Who, because of his divine spiritual and intellectual developments, has become the most vicious animal of all. Represents all of the so-called sins, as they all lead to physical, mental, or emotional gratification. And that's how the church has stayed in business all these years.
Can
So
you read the ninth one? It's kind of cut off on this one.
yeah, it's talking about how the church as Satan is how the church has been kept in business all these years, right? Because you've got the Jesus and the Satan, the Jesus being the good guy and the Satan being the bad guy, when in actuality Satan just represents the ego, the devil. We are little devils, all of us. The ego is the devil. So, oh, you guys are Satanists. No, we're not. Well, not in the way that you think, not in the way that you've been indoctrinated and been taught and been told what it means. You know, we're not embracing any of this. We're just, think of us as being a tour guide. We're your tour guides, guys. We're not your teachers. We're your tour guides. We're presenting the information. You do with it whatever you want.
Yeah, and in contrast, schools and churches tell you what to believe. They don't give you an option. They don't tell you, oh, hey, just look at this point of view and absorb it if you like and throw it away if you don't like it.
No,
They
tell
just
you.
tell you, if you don't do it this way, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And like you said, if a student makes a mistake, it's not a new invention. It's not a new stuff. It's just freaking a mistake.
Yeah.
And I really think that's where our educational system around the world dismally fails.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I've got a really good follow-up to that. Just remind me when I finish the presentation, Harry, about China. All right.
Okay.
So the 9 satanic sins: stupidity, pretentiousness, solipsism. If you don't know what solipsism means, it means that you believe that there's just like one mind. Self-deceit, herd conformity, lack of perspective, forgetfulness of past orthodoxies, counterproductive pride, and lack of aesthetics. Can't see anything wrong with that.
No.
So let's just move on just for a sec. University, uniform, uniformity. Uni means one, according to Merriam-Webster. Universe. Well, a verse, universe, one verse. Verses are found in poems and songs. Verse is an anagram of serve. Universe, serve, one. Who are you going to serve? The ego, by gathering your treasures, your earthly treasures. Are you going to serve materialism, or are you going to serve the higher self? That's really what it's all about. You know, it's interesting, Harry, that a computer program is spelled P-R-O-G-R-A-M, but a television program has the M-E on the end because it means program me.
And just to go back to that last point you made about who you're going to serve, whether you're going to serve the dog, the avatar, or if you're going to serve the higher self, the God. It's funny because if you do serve the material, you're just going to stay stuck in the material.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
if you serve the higher self, then you can ascend and free yourself of this tandem or this tether, excuse me, and be free. So it's really up to you. It's your choice. And the polarization happens because if you have to be told how to choose, well, you know how the earthly side is going to tell you to. They're going to tell you pick the material side and stay right where you're at.
Absolutely, bro. So program me. And what have we been programmed? You know, big shout out to Robin for these picks. The one on the left, Harry, the one on the left kind of reminds me of a close-up, a really like a microscopic picture of an eye with the, and
Mhm.
isn't it interesting, Harry, that the black bit in the middle is called a pupil, and a pupil is a student.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there are no coincidences, guys.
And could that pupil be the black hole sun?
Yeah, it quite possibly could be. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Because light goes into the pupils, right?
Yeah.
Which is why when it's dark, your pupil widens. And when you look into a bright light, your pupil actually becomes smaller. It kind of shrinks, right?
Yeah.
Depending on how much light is available, how much light it's taking in.
Mhm.
We put this one in last week's or in the previous podcasts. This map hangs in. Well, we've got no way of knowing, but big shout out to one of our subscribers. Again, I can't remember the name, but you know, we mentioned these 11 dots, Harry. 1, 2, 3. We can actually see the numbers. 11 and 11, which is 22. And we're told there are 7 continents. 22 over 7 is your pi, 3.142. And that is the code of this realm. Logan has proven it time and time again. We've shown it time and time again. We live in a simulation. We live in a simulation, a computer program. The computer programs or the computer program itself is pi 3.142. Phi 1.61, or the golden ratio, is the program of nature. Okay. And gematria, which all ties in, is the practice of coding letters into words. And Robin sent me this. Now, you know, you can read on this one. It says it hangs inside of the UN, but is she saying here, or is this person saying here, that the headquarters are there, or just that this is in the UN? I don't know. But the pi reference 22 over 7, that was a mind blow for me. So big shout out to you know who you were. And then we have this one. Is it CGI? I don't know. I really don't know. But again, Robin sent this. Is this connected to this? The eye? I don't know.
Could be the all-seeing eye is
Could be.
just
It
just
could
the
be.
eye that sees the entire
Well,
underbelly
yeah,
of the
yeah.
plane.
Is that the all-seeing eye? You know what I mean? I mean, you know, again, guys, we just throw this out there, see what you think, and let us know in the comments. And then, of course, it's just when I've seen this this type of thing many times. Again, you know, you've got the 7 continents, we've got the 7 seas, we've got, this is the realm of 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 days in a week, and you know,
Oh, here,
all
look at
the
this.
stuff that goes with it.
Nigel,
Mm.
beyond the eyes wall.
Oh, the eyes have it. Eye. Yeah. Oh, good call, bro.
Beyond the
Yeah.
eyes wall.
Yeah. Yeah. Good one. Good one. All right. So that's pretty much this week's presentation. Get you guys having a bit of a think. So getting back to the Satan thing, Harry. You know, oh, by the way, happy Thanksgiving for for tomorrow. I think it's you'll well.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
couple,
mean,
yeah, couple days.
it's my Wednesday here, so it's it'll be your Thursday tomorrow. So happy Thanksgiving. Now, you know, how many people, Harry, if I said to you, would you like to come to China for a holiday? How many people are going to go, oh my God, I'm not going there?
I'd say 95%, maybe more.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived here since the end of 2014. I'm coming up to 7 years, right, living in China, and I love it. It's great. It's great. But the amount of people that would, oh, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Why? Because you've had this negativity drummed into you all your life. Same as Russia. I worked with a guy a while ago who spent 13 years teaching English in Russia. Loved every minute of it. You know. So
Mhm.
when you look at how it's been sold, Yeah. Then compare that with the Satanism. Yeah, how it's evil. And yeah, look, I know there is another side to that, guys. We call it the occult, which just means hidden, and we have all that kind of worship and those rituals. And I'm not interested in any of that. Doesn't do anything for me. I think it's sinister. I think it's horrible. Um, but we're just looking here, exploring the difference between the ego and the spirit, the Jesus and the Santa, which represents all of us. No Santa Claus comes down the chimney and puts presents under the tree. You do it. I do it. Well, we used to. So
Nigel,
we are
I
Santa.
think, I think, Nigel, I think just the same way as uh, the satanic idea has been given a black eye and a false representation.
Yeah.
Because again, Satan is not a pitchfork wielding, red horned and tailed person. It's not a person. It's a title.
It's
It's
an
a
idea. It's an
idea
idea.
concept.
Yeah.
It's the one who goes against your belief.
Yeah.
Now, if your God is, let's say, Yahweh, and he's going around killing people who don't believe in him, would you not be a Satan if you wanted to go against him?
Of course you would.
That,
Yeah.
that's why people are branded that.
Mm.
Now, let's look at the other extreme. How many times do people call Christians good people?
Mm.
But yet they all judge one another. I mean, I was a Christian for 25 years. I should know Christians judge others far harsher than most others do.
Yeah. And the Bible is called the good book.
Yeah,
There's
it's
not
called the
much
good
good.
book.
There's not much good in it.
If you read some of those chapters, there's a lot of killing, there's a lot of molesting, there's a lot of strange things that happen in that book. So, yeah, I think both sides, if you look at it, the Christian side has a black eye, and the Satan side has a black eye, and they're both mislabeled.
Yeah.
And it's again duality at its best.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I said from the beginning, everything is inverted. It's all upside down. It's not what we think. It's not what we've been taught. And people, like you said last time, Harry, people need to put the big boy pants on. You know what I mean? And understand. Oh, you're a Satanist. You're called the devil's playground. We come here to play. We are the devil. We are the ego.
Yeah.
This is the realm of the ego. This is the devil's playground
And we'll
where
say it
we
again.
live.
We're the avatars of the higher self. We are the dog, whereas the higher self is the God.
Yeah.
People need to understand those concepts. Again, it works for our understanding. It makes a lot of sense. People have to just wrap their minds around what are they doing here?
Mm.
What are they doing?
Yeah. Go and watch, if you haven't already, guys, go and watch Bark Bark Baby and Tartarian Dogs, where we talk about the ego being the avatar being the dog, and our higher self being the quote unquote God, the inversion of dog. So anything you want to finish with, bro?
Well, we kind of look at the inversion as being bad, and it's not always bad. We talked about some of these characters that we see on the political stage. They're just actors, they're doing their part. They think they're doing a great job at it. They've been taught a certain way. We've been taught a certain way. It's up to us to be able to tell whether the teaching that we've received has been, for our benefit or for someone else's benefit. But inversions, without the inversions, sometimes we can't even recognize the good from the bad, and we need them both.
As above, so below. It all beginning to make sense. Yeah. All right, guys, we'll let you go. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. You could have been doing anything, but you chose to listen to our ramblings. Let us know in the comments your thoughts. Our personal email addresses are there as well. If there's something you want to send us that you can't leave in the comments, maybe a link or something, flick it over to the email. And we will see you on the weekend. So once again, for everybody in America and Canada, anybody celebrating Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. And we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Take care. Bye.